Hello everyone, I'm Nocturne Deluxe. This is another League of Legends commentary, and today I want to put the debate to rest. Is it better to build attack speed and crit on Nocturne, or is he better as an AD burst assassin caster? I want to find out today. We're going to look at a team fight from a recent game I played, and then we're going to go into the practice tool, and we're actually going to look at some hard numbers to figure out what is the better build. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm looking at a team fight from a recent game I played. This is the last Baron fight of the game. Let me just set up the situation for you real quick. So our Nami, which is over here, she was clearing vision in the river. You can see there was a little vision war going here between her and the Lux. The Lux was trying to hit her control wards, or she was trying to hit her control wards. Eventually, Lux's entire team comes out of the jungle, chases Nami up the river. They chased her all the way back here, and then they figured, hey, since we're here, why not go and get the Baron? At this point, our Jhin was actually down here, soloing Dragon. It was an Ocean Drag. I don't think it was worth it to have him out of position in order to get an Ocean Drag this late in the game when Baron was up, especially when we had Vision on their entire team. But whatever, he kills the Ocean Drag and starts running up immediately. Really good on him. Meanwhile, our Jax and our Yasuo, who are both doing pretty well, they decide to start kind of doing the little dance around them. They do have Vision on us here, but my Duskblade actually catches this, and we start popping this ward. Lux had just come over and warded this as well, so they're going for it. I think this is a little risky Baron call, in my honest opinion, but whatever, they went for it. They were kind of desperate at this point. We were kind of starting to snowball against them. It was late in the game. This was kind of a desperation play, I think, so here's how it works. So we're kind of dancing around here. We have three. We're waiting for Jhin to come up before we even start fighting. Let's just start playing this a little bit. So the Lux is trying to zone the Nami here. The Yasuo starts walking up, and so the Lux is obviously trying to keep him at bay as well. We're still killing this ward. The Nami sees us walk up, so she decides, hey, I think I'm going to ult this. And she does that right about... So they're all kind of wondering, hey, should we chase the Nami? What should we do? I think she saw them walking towards them. I think it spooked her a little bit, so she ults here. Not sure what that was, that bind, but whatever. This actually turns out to be a decent ult because she kind of sees us walking up as well. And I think we both kind of saw each other do this. Like, she ults, so we decided, okay, she's ulting, so let's go in. So at this point in the game, they had kind of been onto... I threw the Dustbringer out. So they had already been onto the fact that I was ulting the Xayah and the Ori and the Lux repeatedly. So what was happening was every time I ulted, they would immediately turn back and peel and just collapse on me and kill me. So notice that we don't have a front line. We have Jax. That's basically about it. And he's 6 and 9, so he's not like Fed or anything like that. They have the Malphite, who's also 2 and 8, which isn't that great either, but he's a Malphite, right? Plus they have the Vi, who's a bruiser, so they have a little bit more of a front line. They obviously have a lot of engage. The Malphite ult, the Vi ult are huge for us. So we're basically trying to get picks all game. That's what we've been doing. That's how we've been getting ahead in this game. So let me decide this. At this point, the Nami ult comes in. The Yasuo decides to ult the Malphite. Also questionable, but look how dispersed their team is, right? So the Lux is still trying to zone the Nami. The Xayah was kind of peeling off to help that, but then she sees the Yasuo again, so she turns in. The Ori is in the pit, not really sure why, so she kind of turns, and the Vi's back here. I think she was basically just trying to keep hitting the Baron without taking poke, so I understand why she's doing that. But now, and I think they were also trying to avoid the Nami ult as it came through right here. So, Yasuo goes in on the Nami ult. Really good. It probably would have been better to pick a better target than the frontline tank, but remember Yasuo's ult also gives him ridiculous armor pen. So he was able to start shredding the Malphite, which is really good for us. At this point, the Jax starts spinning his E. He's going to jump in and try to get a 4-man stun. So at this point, pretty good. Now, the Lux is ulting the Nami. I really don't know why, but whatever. So that's one ult down. Good for us. The Yasuo ults the Malf and then E's back out and throws up the wind wall. Really good play by him, actually. The Jax goes in, and actually you can see the Vi here is actually casting her E right into the Jax. So she kind of blocked him a little bit, so he wasn't able to get the 4-man stun, but I believe he does get a 2-man stun here. Yep, so he stuns both the Vi and the Malphite. The Xayah ults at this point, okay? So as a Nocturne, I'm sitting here. As an assassin, right? I'm sitting in the background waiting to ult. I don't want to ult at the beginning of the fight because then Xayah can ult, the Lux can ult even though she just ulted the support for no reason. The Ori can also ult, plus Malf also has his ult, plus Vi also has her ult. So if I go in, I am just dead, right? I'm dead as fried chicken, as Samuel L. Jackson would say. Right? So I don't want to just jump in on this. I'm waiting for some major cooldowns to go down. I see the Xayah ult here, which is really good. So now I'm kind of getting in position here. I start walking up as soon as I see that happen. So now I start walking up. And then, as soon as that happens, I see the Ori ult go down. So you notice the paranoia comes on right away, right? As soon as I saw both of those ults go down, I'm going in. So in this fight, we've already gotten the frontline tank below half health. You can see the Vi is stunned here by the Jax, and then they just blew both of their ults, right? So awesome time to go in. The Lux, I didn't actually see that she ulted because she was so far back, but she's in the back. She actually just threw her bind out, and she ulted, so she has nothing right now except her shield. So let me take a look real quick. This is kind of annoying sound. I'm going to just turn this down a little bit. Let me just take a look at my items real quick so you can see kind of what damage we're going to put out on this ult. So I have Storm Razor, right? This is still loud. There we go. So I have Storm Razor, which is giving me 160% damage. So I'm getting the automatic crit from that, right? My Duskblade, it looks like it's popped. It's actually not popped yet. You can see over here, it's still going. I'm emerging from the shadows right now, as it says. So I actually haven't gotten the burst from that yet. So I'm going to get the Duskblade burst. I also have this Dead Man's Plate, right? So remember, the Dead Man's Plate does magic damage. It discharges the static, or whatever. What is it? Basic attacks deal 1 magic damage per stack of momentum. I don't have a lot of momentum right now. I only have 10 stacks, so that's not going to do a huge amount of damage. I also have my Electrocute. And then remember, I also have, as far as burst goes, I also have Umbra Blades that are up. I just used my Dustbringer like a few seconds ago because I was trying to poke them and also get some damage down on them, so that is not up right now. I also have my Smite, so that's all the burst damage I have. So let's go ahead and see what kind of damage we can do on this Xayah. So at this point, I had 2 targets that I could have selected, the Ori or the Xayah. The Ori was already low. The Ori actually got chunked by Baron here, so I could have gone in on her. I chose to go in the Xayah just because I knew that I could take her from 100 to 0, so let's see what happens here. So here the Ori takes the, I think that's the Baron shot coming and killing her right here. Oh, that Baron shot. Okay, so now I'm about to hit the Xayah. Let's see what kind of damage I do. Okay, so right there we have the 300 damage coming in. I think that's the ult damage. And then that was, I believe, the Umbra Blades popping to get this much. So she's already almost dead, right? And then the final auto attack there is going to be the Electrocute pops, and then I do the crit, and then my Dead Man's Plate pops, so basically everything. So she's completely dead. I mean, it was like basically one auto attack. It was ult and one auto attack, right? So as an assassin, that's my whole job, right? I'm supposed to jump in and annihilate a target as quickly as possible and then get out if I can. That's what Nocturne does. That's what his entire kit is focused around, right? His ult lets him do that. If you look at him, like compare him to some other like ADC melee champions like a Tryndamere or a Master Yi or something like that, someone like Tryndamere, he doesn't have like a major ganking ult or something, right? He has like a split push kind of build, right? His ult allows him to survive duels. His E allows him to dash through walls and get away when he's split pushing and getting chased, right? Tryndamere's not a great teamfight champion. Nocturne, the only reason he can even teamfight is because of his ult. So we're looking to annihilate somebody as quickly as possible. That's what an assassin does. So I kill the Xayah. For some reason, their Malphite has a Zhonya's, so their support Malphite has a Zhonya's. I don't know why. So he Zhonya's. So I kill the Xayah. I immediately start moving out because I want to reposition back here. I don't want to be up here, right? The Jax should be taking the brunt of that, and I think his Sterix had already popped, and he also took the exhaust at this point as well, so they're trying to peel him already. I don't want to be up here. I want to come back here and try to finish off the Malphite. So I reposition. He comes out of Zhonya's. So there's the Q again, and I go to get the last hit on the Malphite. Nami actually steals it with the redemption. That's okay, but consider that pretty much a double kill for me. I was there. I was going to get the kill. She didn't get it. So that's 2 kills we've gotten. So now the Ori is still alive. Yasuo re-engages on the Vi because she just came in and queued him. He gets a nice tornado on her. His GA pops. Easy. I just walk up and I finish off the Vi. And then unfortunately I die to the Lux. The Nami maybe could have walked up and like helped me there. And then the rest of the fight goes that Jax comes in, he's ulting. He jumps on her, finishes her, and then the Jhin had arrived at this point, so he's just ulting and finishing off the Lux there. We end up acing them, and I die, but there's 4 of us left, and now we get a free Baron. Okay, so let me ask you this question. At what point in this fight was I sitting there auto-attacking somebody over and over again? I killed the Xayah with 1 auto-attack. I peeled back, finished off the Malphite with 1 auto-attack, and then I came over and killed the Vi with 1 auto-attack. So at what point was attack speed really necessary for me there? At what point was a crit build or like an Infinity Edge or something really going to do more than what my build already did? And remember, I have a Dead Man's Plate as well. So I had a little bit of bulk going for me as well. I had some resistances. So I had some extra utility there, but it was really just these 3 items, Stormrazor, Warrior, and Duskblade, that did all that damage with 3 auto attacks, right? So if you look at it, what would attack speed really have gotten me there? I mean, maybe I could have gotten an extra auto on the Malphite or something. I don't know if he had a little bit more health, but like, would that have really turned the fight for us there? Not really, in my opinion. I think what turned the fight for us there, or at least what was a huge help in the fight, was me one-shotting the Xayah so that she was just erased from the game. So I know you guys are sitting here thinking, well, yeah, but you could have maybe cleaned up the rest of the team or whatever if you had more, you know, I don't know, crit or attack speed. That's fine, but in this situation, as an assassin, I just look at this and say, I did my job. I burst the ADC in 1 hit, and then I was able to kind of help my team clean up the rest of the fight. And then we were able to get a free Baron off of this, and I think they even surrendered after this or something like that. So when you look at this fight, I just have to think, well, what would crit do there? What would attack speed do there? And if I didn't have my Dead Man's Plate, I probably would have died that much quicker as well. Now, I feel like my positioning was okay in this. If I had to end up moving forward and, you know, in that one spot where the 3 of them were trying to counter-engage us, maybe I could have done more damage to them at that point, but I would have popped like super easy. So I think having the little bit of resistance was really good. I also have Ninja Tabby as well, so I was had a little bit of armor, I had a little bit of HP, and I think having those extra items really helped there. So I think this is proof enough that attack speed Nocturne is not the thing. Now, you know, if you were to use attack speed to go split push or something, that would be fine, I guess. You could take towers quicker, but you can maybe even duel people better in a lane somewhere split pushing, right? But then the question is, well, why are you picking Nocturne at that point? Like, if you want to split push, you're basically wasting your ult, which is the whole point of Nocturne's kit. So at that point, why not pick a Tryndamere or a Jax or somebody that could, you know, transition to a split pusher, maybe even a Shaco or something like that, or a Master Yi, right? Those are champs that would be great at jungling and then transitioning into a split pusher at the end. So in my opinion, if you're picking Nocturne, your whole point of playing him is so you can dive their carries and one-shot them. So Burst, in my opinion, is always going to be better on Nocturne. But I know you guys want to see some numbers, so I want to go to the practice tool, and let's just look at some hard numbers for some different types of builds, and then we'll kind of get a definitive conclusion at the end of that. So I'll see you in there. Okay, so I'm in the practice tool right now, and we're going to take a look at Burst Nocturne first. We're going to look at some real numbers, okay? So I'm taking my normal runes here. I'm taking Electrocute as my primary, Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection, and then Ultimate Hunter. And then I'm taking Precision as the secondary tree, Presence of Mind for my ult, Coup de Grace just for some extra damage. Okay, so then I'm only going to be a level 11. This kind of simulates a mid-game build, so we're thinking about the 20-minute mark, okay? That's pretty much when Nocturne starts to shine. Well, before that, basically, as soon as he gets his ult, he starts to shine. But the 20-minute mark is about when you kind of hit that point of whether you're going to snowball to the end of the game or you're going to fall so far behind that you can't really do anything to stop them from snowballing. So at the 20-minute mark, usually you're going to have your completed jungle item, maybe one damage item, and then probably like boots too. You may have some extra long swords or daggers or whatever. It doesn't matter. I just want to kind of provide a consistent build so we can look at the numbers here. So in this combo, what I'm doing here is I'm going to ult. I'm going to throw my Duskbringer out, and then we have Umber Blades up. So we're going to get the ult. We're going to get the Electrocute proc. We're going to get the automatic crit from Stormrazor. We're going to get Umber Blades, and then that should show us all of our damage. Oh, and then we're going to smite as well. So let's see what kind of numbers we get here. Alright, so with the smite, it's 944. And notice that the DPS is 2200. That's not a real DPS number, mainly because that's taking into account all the damage that you did in the first like split second of damage here. So if we keep auto attacking, obviously that number goes down, right? So that's not a true DPS number. So 944 was our burst. Let's just do it one more time for consistency. Let's wait till our electrocute gets up, and then I want to take a look at a Duskblade build right after this. So let's go one more time with Stormrazor. Here we go. Okay, so it's very consistent. So with the smite, it was 944. So let's go ahead and let's go to the base, and let's trade this out for a Duskblade. And I keep getting Dustbringer and Duskblade mixed up, but Duskblade is the item. So 944 was our Stormrazor. Once our electrocute comes up, let's test this with the Duskblade and see if we get more or less damage on that. And then after this, we're going to go switch to a precision build, and we're going to see if attack speed helps us more than this. So, electrocute is coming up. I'm going to ult in. Alright, so 957. So with the smite, looks like we can maybe get a little more damage out of the Duskblade. I still generally build Stormrazor first, just because it gives you that utility of having the attack speed as well, which I think for a first item, you're still farming quite a bit. So it's helping you with that. It's helping you take objectives a little faster as well, getting those first towers down. So I like the extra attack speed. I think Duskblade is fine for a rushed item as well. Let's just do one more hit with this, and then we're going to switch over to our precision build. So waiting for electrocute to come up. We're going to go in. Alright, so 957 with the electrocute proc, with the smite. Remember, the blue smite gives you true damage. It's like a reduced true damage. Yeah, it gives 100 true damage. So that's where we're getting that extra 100 damage here. So overall, pretty good burst for mid-game. If their ADC was like, you know, right now I'm level 11. I'm 1300 HP. So I'm about the same as what a ADC would be. So if I have 1300 HP and we're doing 957 damage, and this guy has 100 armor, you can see a normal armor for this level would not be that. It would be around 87, right? And that's with Ninja Tabby, so even less than that, plus lethality on here. So we'd probably be doing more damage than 957 to an ADC, and they would actually, be almost dead. So essentially, we'd be bursting them, and then again that one auto attack, and they're dead. So let's go ahead and switch things out. I'm going to switch out my runes and do a precision build, and we're going to compare the numbers. Okay, so now this is the same setup. We are level 11. We have basically a 3-item build. So the runes I took for this, I actually chose Fleet Footwork. You could probably do like Lethal Tempo as well. I just chose this because I feel like this is what I would choose on Nocturne if I was going to go a primary precision tree. I think Presence of Mind would still be something I would take. I took Alacrity just for the extra attack speed, and then I think Coup de Grace is still a pretty good rune. And then I'm doing a Domination secondary tree so I can get Ultimate Hunter and Sudden Impact as well. So for this build, okay, I have, first of all, I took the red smite rather than the blue smite because that's probably what I would do with an auto attack speed build. I built Bloodrazor. Also have the Stormrazor. I think that's still a pretty good first item, especially if you're going attack speed. And then just, you know, for the heck of it, I did some Berserker's Greaves just to kind of go all in for the attack speed build. Okay, so this is a level 11. Imagine we're 20 minutes into the game. Let's take a look at the numbers. Remember, we're going to have our Energize passive here from the Fleet Footwork as well. So that's going to add a little bit more burst. And let's see what the numbers are here. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to ult in, I'm going to smite in order to get that extra burn as well. Let's see how it goes. Alright, so initially the burst was pretty low. It was like 750, and then the burn from the smite actually took it up to 900. So overall, we're less than the burst build right now. Let's build up our stacks again on our Fleet Footwork, and then we'll try it again. Okay, let's try it one more time. Okay, so 784 to start, and then with the burn, it's going up to about 900. So remember, 944 was our number for the burst build. Let's go ahead and try the Duskblade, just to see if that would change anything. And we'll see if we can get some better numbers on that. So Duskblade is up. I have my Fleet Footwork up, and we're going to try the same thing again. Here we go. Alright, so 818, that was a little higher. Alright, so it's basically the same damage. Same damage. So, what's the conclusion here? Okay, what's the conclusion? Is it better or not? Now, obviously, late game. So if we're level 18 and we have a full build, a full-on damage crit build is going to be the thing that does more damage. I mean, that's how that mechanic works, right? That's why ADCs build that stuff, right? Because in late game, you're just like an unstoppable god. So there's no denying that. But if I build full damage, remember I'm missing out on resistances like a Dead Man's Plate or maybe a Spirit Visage or something like that. So if I'm going full damage, I really have to commit to, I mean, remember Infinity Edge doesn't give crit by itself, so I have to build, you know, somewhere in there I have to build a crit item like a Phantom Dancer or a Static Shiv or something like that. Then I have to get the Infinity Edge as well, so I really don't have any slots left for extra resistances. So I'm going to be basically just an ADC who can't, like, do ranged attacks. You know, you're basically just going to fly in and get popped like immediately. So, I mean, you could build a GA or something, and I think that would work. But I just think that's a really risky build for like team fights and for late game. If it works for you, it works for you. I mean, if you're playing in bronze or something like that, I would probably just build all damage because it's like you can't really rely on your teammates to peel or to engage at the right time. So at that point, you might as well just try to do as much damage as possible. I think in Silver, people are a little more aware of what Nocturne does, and they're probably going to, you know, the support's probably going to help peel, or they're going to save their flash for you, or they're going to build a GA. I think in Gold upwards, it's going to be, you know, a lot harder to do anything with a full damage build on Nocturne, just because people know how to peel. They know how to set up a front line and have their back line position behind them. They just know a little bit more about how the game works. So I think they're just going to wait for you to go in, and you're going to get like auto popped, you know. I think for this mid game, you know, the damage is about the same, so really I think it's up to you as a preference. I think if you're taking a lot of objectives, you're counter jungling a lot, maybe attack speed is the way to go. But let me just break this down to you real quick as well. If we go something like Bloodrazor, look at the build path for this. I would have to build a recurve bow, which only gives me 15 physical damage on hit. That's the only damage I'm getting until I actually build this thing, and then it's doing % health damage. So if I'm up against squishy targets, which is why you would pick Nocturne, is to assassinate squishy targets, % health isn't really going to do much for you there. You get the massive attack speed, the 50%, but again, it's like this. I feel like this is going to slow your mid game down, mainly because you're building all attack speed and no damage, right? So once you hit that little bit of a power spike in the mid game, you get your ult and you have like one major damage item. It's not going to be there when you're building all attack speed, right? Whereas if I build this, I'm getting 60 attack damage. And remember, my ult scales ridiculously well with attack damage. I think it gives something like 100, or no, what's the 150? No, this is 120% physical damage, and then your ult scales really well with attack damage. Everything you do is attack damage based, except for this, right? So having raw attack damage is always good for all of your abilities. I think it's just going to make you stronger in the mid game as well. So that's all I got for you guys. I think the conclusion is play him how you want. I don't really care. If you go attack speed and crit on Nocturne, more power to you. I think it can work. I think if you know how to play him well, it's going to be fine. I personally play him as a burst caster, and that's why I wanted to show you that team fight in the beginning, so you could just see how I think and how I play through a team fight. I think having a little resistance on Nocturne is good in the late game, and as I showed, you only really need these 3 items in order to burst down a squishy character at like level 16. So I think that's the best way to play him. If you disagree with me, that's okay. If some challenger out there disagrees with me, that's okay. The whole point of this is to play the game how you want, to have fun with the game the way that you want, and yeah, just to have fun, right? And just to explore these things on your own. So hopefully seeing some hard numbers helped you make your decision, and hopefully we can just put this debate to rest. And from now on, if anybody asks me this question, I'm probably just going to post a link to this video. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.